In the hushed whispers of history, amidst the echoing clash of steel, emerges a saga woven with courage and conviction. Behold the tale of the samurai, a lineage of warriors whose blades carved both destinies and legends. From the serenity of tea ceremonies to the thunderous roar of battlefields, their existence transcended mere mortals, embodying an ethos steeped in honor, loyalty, and unyielding resolve. As we unravel the folds of time, immerse yourself in a world where tradition met the cutting edge, where discipline was the armor and the sword, an extension of the soul. Prepare to traverse the landscapes of feudal Japan, to witness the rise and fall of dynasties, and to delve into the hearts of those who lived and died by the code of Bushido, a code that etched their stories into eternity. Join us on this odyssey through the annals of valor, where the echoes of their legacy reverberate and the spirit of the samurai lives on. Miyamoto Musashi was born in 1584 in the Harima province of Japan. His childhood was marked by turmoil and upheaval, witnessing the warring states and the unification efforts led by Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi. In 1599, Musashi left his village, apparently as early as at the age of 15 or 16. His family possessions such as furniture, weapons, genealogy, and other records were left with his sister and her husband, Hirao Yoemon. He spent his time traveling and engaging in duels. According to the introduction of the Book of Five Rings written by himself, it encapsulated his philosophy on strategy, tactics, and the art of combat. Musashi states that his first successful duel was at the age of 13 against a samurai named Arima Kihei. The main source of the duel is the Hyoho Senshi Denki. Summarized, its account goes as follows. In 1596, Musashi was 13, and Arima Kihei, who was traveling to hone his art, posted a public challenge in Hirafukumura. Musashi wrote his name on the challenge. A messenger came to Doran's temple where Musashi was staying to inform Musashi that his duel had been accepted by Kihei. Doran, Musashi's uncle, was shocked by this and tried to beg off the duel in Musashi's name based on his nephew's age. Kihei was adamant that the only way his honor could be cleared was if Musashi apologized to him when the duel was scheduled. So when the time set for the duel arrived, Doran began apologizing for Musashi, who merely charged at Kihei with a 6-foot quarterstaff, shouting a challenge to Kihei. Kihei attacked with a wakizashi, but Musashi threw Kihei on the floor, and while Kihei tried to get up, Musashi struck Arima between the eyes and then beat him to death. Arima was said to have been arrogant, overly eager to battle, and not a terribly talented swordsman, but the duel that made him a true legend was with Sasaki Kojiro. In 1611, Musashi began practicing zazen at the Myoshinji Temple, where he met Nagaoka Sado, vassal to Hosokawa Tadaoki. Tadaoki was a powerful lord who had received the Kumamoto domain in west-central Kyushu after the Battle of Sekigahara. Munasai had moved to northern Kyushu and became Tadaoki's teacher, leading to the possibility that Munasai introduced Musashi to Sasaki Kojiro, another guest of the Hosokawa clan at the time. Somehow, a duel was proposed between the two. In some versions, Nagaoka proposed the duel. In others, Kojiro proposed it out of rivalry or jealousy. Tokitsu believes that the duel was politically motivated as a matter of consolidating Tadaoki's control over his fief. The duel was scheduled for April 13, 1612, when Musashi was approximately 30 years old. The departure by boat for the duel was arranged for the Hour of the Dragon in the early morning, approximately 8 in the morning, to the island of Ganryujima, a small isle between Honshu and Kyushu. While Hosokawa officials banned spectators, the island was filled with them anyway. Kojiro was known for wielding an oversized nodachi, Japanese greatsword, called a laundry-drying pole for its length, as well as being titled Three Shaku Silver Blade. Using this sword, Kojiro was said to be known for a swift two-stroke sword technique called Tsubame Gaishi, and he bore the nickname the Demon of the Western Provinces. Kojiro arrived at the appointed time, but was then left to wait for hours. Musashi had overslept. Kojiro sent out servants to retrieve Musashi, who ate a full breakfast, taking his time. In some variants of the tale, Musashi intentionally arrives late as a sign of disrespect. As he sailed over the Kanman Straits, Musashi carved a crude, oversized bakken from one of the ship's oars with his knife, making an improvised wooden sword, possibly to help wake himself up. Upon his arrival, an irritated Kojiro chided Musashi's lateness and dramatically threw his scabbard into the sea as a sign that he would not stop and would fight to the death. Musashi responded with a taunt of his own, saying that Kojiro clearly wasn't confident in himself if he thought he'd never get a chance to use a fine scabbard again. The two circled each other, and Kojiro leaped toward Musashi with his trademark overhead strike. Musashi, too, jumped and swung his weapon with a shout, and the two sword strokes met. Musashi's headband fell off, sliced by Kojiro's sword. But somehow, only the headband was cut rather than Musashi's skull. Musashi's strike, meanwhile, had struck true, cleaving Kojiro's skull. 21 years later, in 1633, Musashi began staying with Hosokawa Tadatoshi, daimyo of Kumamoto Castle, who had moved to the Kumamoto fief and Kokura to train and paint. While he engaged in very few duels, one would occur in 1634 at the arrangement of Lord Ogasawara, in which Musashi defeated a lance specialist by the name of Takada Matabe. Musashi would officially become the retainer of the Hosokawa lords of Kumamoto in 1640. The Niton Ki records, received from Lord Tadatoshi 17 retainers, a stipend of 300 koku, the rank of Okumigashira and Chiba Castle in Kumamoto as his residence. In the second month of 1641, Musashi wrote a work called the Hyoho Sanjugo, 35 Instructions on Strategy, for Hosokawa Tadatoshi. This work overlapped and formed the basis for the Book of Five Rings. This was the year that his adopted son, Hirao Yoemon, became master of arms for the Owari fief. In 1642, Musashi suffered attacks of neuralgia, foreshadowing his future ill health. In 1643, he retired to a cave named Reigando as a hermit to write the Book of Five Rings. He finished it in the second month of 1645. On the 12th of the fifth month, sensing his impending death, Musashi bequeathed his worldly possessions after giving his manuscript copy of the Book of Five Rings to the younger brother of Terao Maganojo, his closest disciple. He died in Reigando Cave around June 13, 1645. At the moment of his death, he had himself raised up. He had his belt tightened and his wakizashi put in it. He seated himself with one knee vertically raised, holding the sword with his left hand and a cane in his right hand. He died in this posture, at the age of 62. The principal vassals of Lord Hosokawa and the other officers gathered, and they painstakingly carried out the ceremony. Then they set up a tomb on Mount Iwato on the order of the Lord. Miyamoto Musashi died of what is believed to be thoracic cancer. He died peacefully after finishing the text, Dokodo, the Way of Walking Alone, or The Way of Self-Reliance, 21 Precepts on Self-Discipline to Guide Future Generations. Miyamoto Musashi's legacy endures as a symbol of martial excellence and strategic brilliance. His teachings continue to influence not just the martial arts, but also the realms of business, leadership, and philosophy. His life story, a testament to discipline, adaptability, and a relentless pursuit of mastery, stands as an inspiration for generations, earning him a place among the most revered figures in Japanese history.